Yo, what is up? It's the Cosmic here.
Please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video. And also check out our Subscribe Star, where you can unlock exclusive perks in our Discord server for any hot stock related news. Thank you so much for the support, fam, and I'll see you soon. As COVID-19 continues to plague the world, we're starting to see a rise in a sector that was mainly predominant in China before. The demand for thermal screening is rapidly growing across the globe, and you're starting to see companies like Remark Holdings or Crex, CREX, swooping in to meet the demand. Well, the most established company that I believe will see the most success is Flir Systems. And that is the stock that we're going to be doing a case study on today. So first, who is Flir? Well, up here I pulled up their website, and you can see that they're doing, thermal screenings for COVID. And Flir Systems designs, develops, markets, and distributes technology that detect people, objects, and substances. The company's three business units are industrial business, government and defense, and commercial. The industrial business segment develops components used to create thermal, industrial, and imaging systems. The government and defense unit develops imaging and recognition systems for the military, law enforcement, and other government customers. The commercial business segment develops cameras, video recording systems, and video management systems for use in commercial and infrastructure settings. The company operates around the world with a significant portion of revenue coming from the US. Their current price is $40.57, give or take depending on whenever you watch this video. The float is 114.8 million. The market cap is 5.65 billion. The cash on hand is 308 million, and their long-term debt is 635 million. So why is this stock important? Why should we care about Flir Systems? Just like what I told you, they have three main units of businesses, and each one of them are actually a current hot sector. One is the thermal screening play. That's probably one of the hottest sectors right now. A lot of people are looking at that. Two are drones. Flir Systems do have drone cameras, and that was a big play whenever drones were starting to become a big play here recently. And next is security, home security, body cams for cops, home security cameras, military government security. So they're a pretty big company, and they have big clients such as the Pentagon, actual government contracts that they're winning, and one of my favorite companies, Tesla. So it's really, really awesome. They're the main competitor to Mark and CREX. I like to say that this is the big boy stock compared to those two. They are also working with FRSX on their thermal screening. So keep an eye out on FRSX. If any one of those tickers get big, if any one of these tickers get big news, you will see both of them run. And like I said, they've been working with Tesla in their vehicles since 2016. So they're really, really awesome. Let's go ahead and dive on into the chart. Just show you recently, I went ahead and I mapped out the key levels of supports and resistance. So the key price levels, and all these little yellow arrows are the news that I will be reading off to you. And all these down thumbs are analyst downgrades, and the up thumb is analyst upgrade. So starting off with the recent news, this crack just happened. This was just happening because the whole coronavirus just destroying the market. And then on April 1st, that's whenever they announced their smart thermal sensor solution for industrial monitoring and elevated skin temperature screening. And then they also entered an agreement with FRSX to develop, market, and distribute the quad sight vision system. So this is whenever they start, this date they actually got in on with FRSX, and they also announced that they're going to be joining the market for the thermal screenings. On April 3rd, they actually were granted a 18.6 million order for their Centaur unmanned ground vehicles for the Marine Corps. So that's where you see this right here, and you got a nice little spike off of it. Looks like what, from 32 to 35. If we want to go from low of the day, it's 30 to 35, so a nice $5 spike. If we consider the next day, $7. So on the 20th, on the 9th of April, they got a downgrade, and then on the 16th of April, they got a downgrade as well. So just kind of pushed the stock down a bit. And then the next big jump was right here on the 20th, where this was when a whole lot of thermal plays jumped, because Amazon started the traders started circulating comments from William Blair suggesting Amazon will deploy company thermal cameras at Whole Foods locations to screen employees on a daily basis for elevated temperatures. So that's where you see this nice little spike here from 34 all the way up to 43. And that started hitting on a whole lot of people's radars. Then you get the analyst downgrade. And then right here on April 28th, FLIR shares were unaffected following the recent CBS article. The thermal imaging cameras could play a quote-unquote critical role in keeping people safe from COVID-19. And Remark Holdings was actually one of those that ran with this as well. And the article said that it was unaffected, but it did get a nice push from it, a nice $4 push from it, and that's 10% of the stock's price. So that was a pretty good play there. In the next major news didn't happen until May 6th, where FLIR Systems announced its first quarter 2020 financials results, and it actually beat, or was online with expectations and beat it just a little bit, and that just sent them up. They just went from 42 and they continued to run 49, and that was some good news that their first quarter earnings were good. And that gives me hope for the second quarter earnings, because if they're starting to really distribute their systems, then we can see another good earnings whenever they officially announce when their earnings is. Right now it's unconfirmed. Benzinga is showing unconfirmed for the 22nd of July. So next, on May 11th, FLIR wins a $20.6 million contract to provide Black Hornet Nano UAV systems for the U.S. Army Soldier-Borne Sensor Program. So that's another big contract winner with the military, but it didn't really do anything with the stock, because again, that's not what was really moving it. What was moving the stock was the thermal play. So thermal play is really big and really important right now for a whole lot of security and a whole lot of businesses. So these drones and like security play news that they put out will probably not affect the stock that much currently, until another major catalyst happens in the world where those stocks do become into play. So on May 13th, they launched their C5 compact thermal camera with cloud connectivity, and they announced that they were going to be participating in the 15th annual Needham Virtual Technology and Media Conference on May 20th. And I mean, they got some, it was a whole buy the rumor, sell the news, but it was only a $3 jump. It wasn't really that much. So needless to say, it's not really moving that much compared to the price it is. but I see this as they're trying to fill a gap. So more on that in a second. Let's hop on over to June 3rd. There wasn't really any major news throughout this whole consolidation area, and that's what you see is consolidation. Whenever stock sits there and bounces between its two key levels, they're going, this is consolidation to the max. And it showed that it was going to try to break out, and the breakout failed. So on June 3rd, what was it that kind of pushed it up? And that's whenever they announced that they installed its EST screening solution at the Pentagon to support its fight against COVID-19. And it was a COVID-19 call, and it went up. Not a whole lot, $1 a share, but it still had a nice little push from that, showing that COVID news is moving the stock, but the stock is really hefty right now. On June 8th, on June 8th, they launched their FLIR Screen EST software to improve skin temperature screening for COVID-19. And it didn't really move the stock anymore because I believe that it was already hyped up from the June 3rd news about the Pentagon. And then on June 9th, they get another military contract for their Centaur unmanned ground vehicles for the Army and Navy. So they got some for the Marines, and then they got some for the Navy and the Army. So next is June 15th. This was another recent move. It bounced off this key previous resistance level, and it ran $3 a share off of their unveiling of the innovative 380X upgrade for its Star Sapphire long-range imaging systems. So it was news for them upgrading some of their systems, and it did move it, and it wasn't a COVID play. So that's how come I'm saying that this stock, they're going to be coming out with news all the time. So the news will have to be stacked up to really move the stock, and that's how come you see this uptrend here. They just had good news, more good news, and then once the good news kind of settled down for a little bit, the stock didn't really move. And then once they started picking it back up, it was already at the point where it was too late. People were ready to drop out of it because it wasn't coming back up to meet this 49.50 range. And on June 30th, finally today, they announced modified thermal cameras specified for elevated skin temperature screening. And it didn't really move the stock as much as I thought it would, because I thought this news, me personally, I thought this was good news for the company. We'll see tomorrow because of the quote-unquote informational inefficiency. It takes a while for news to circulate, and a lot of people were looking at a lot of other stocks because the stock market was popping this morning. So, in conclusion, what I see FLIR as a powerhouse. They're not only getting big name contracts with companies like Tesla, but they're also winning government contracts. Like they're getting good revenue coming in my eyes, and they've been getting a whole lot of contracts over this recent quarter, and that's how come I'm looking forward to these next earnings. This company has legs, and I believe, like I said, these next earnings are going to beat the estimations, with the thermal screening sector being in as high of demand as it is, and with them being the reputable company that they are. If their prices are anywhere competitive towards Marks or CREX, which I may doubt, I haven't really looked too deep into that point, but I can see companies wanting to use a company like this that has credibility, that is working with the US government, with various military branches, with the Pentagon, that they would be more reputable to buy from for their thermal screening. This is probably going to be my first options play. Definitely think that I will look for a nice call sweep. I don't want to do a put because I do believe that this is coming back up. Like I was saying earlier, I think that it's ready to fill a gap. Let's just pull out and look at the whole year. Actually, let's look at the whole couple years. This stock has done nothing but continuously climbed. And here, I'll delete some of this stuff. And you'll notice that every time it's gapped down, it's tried to gap back up. Didn't do it, and then came back. And it's gapped down, tried to gap back up, didn't do it, so let's see if it can come back. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to be bullish on this. This is probably going to be one of my first options trades to dip my toe into that type of trading. But if y'all have anything else, anything that I've missed, most importantly, leave a comment down below. Let me know. I love feedback. I love that y'all are loving these case studies, and I want to do more of them, fam. So do me a favor, leave a like, subscribe, share to your friends, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.